God is good. I am blessed to have my wife, Rebecca, right here next to me. Good to see you. Our founding fathers promised that we were promised by God the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Do you feel free? No. Are you okay with Governor Wolf? No. I was just at his office moments ago, my 23rd visit in 126 days, and not once has he been there. Are you okay with that? No. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. The guy is absent without duty. I mean, he's gone. He's AWOL. He's deserted his post, and the Army, would bring up charges on that. What do you think? Something is not right in Pennsylvania, and look at that. What is the problem? Can you help me? Never before has so much damage been done by so many in Pennsylvania by so few. I'm calling out Governor Wolf for being a derelict in duty, for abandoning his post, for not talking to the people. Where is he? Has he showed up to anything out here? He's never once said hi to us out here. And in fact, that same governor comes out with edicts and commandments, Dauphin County, yellow, no more than 25. The great Oz has forbidden it. And then the guy can't even live up to his own edicts. A couple days later, he's out with a couple thousand marching around. Are you okay with that? So where does he get the moral authority to dictate us with these random rules and these assignments that he can't even stand by? I mean, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. So what are you going to do about it?
Impeach him!
Wow. Wow. That is outstanding. It is a dark time in Pennsylvania here. You think back across the generations and how many people have lost so much to secure our freedoms here. And I watch a governor who hasn't done much for our state or country at all, as far as I know, except thrive off of it and enjoy all the rights and privileges of his wealth. Meanwhile, he throws a burden on our backs here, and there's only so much money he can spend. Eventually, he's going to run out of spending our money, and I'm done with it. He needs to show up to work and get the job done. Normally, in a crisis, having served 30 years in the Army, and where are my veterans? Let me see veterans out there. These are the heroes. I see them. Thank you for your service. Could you ever imagine veterans and veterans' families that only a year ago we'd be having a debate about our basic freedoms, and only a year ago there'd be a debate whether your church can be open, only a year ago that something like this, the governor might come down, and threaten us and coerce us? I can't believe it. So he comes out a few months ago and he picks winners and losers. Are you okay with that? He comes out and picks essential, non-essential. Are you okay with that? No. What's up with this life-sustaining and non-life-sustaining? Are you okay with that? No. And then how about life and death? No. I can't believe we have a governor who says evil is good and good is evil. He comes out and he says no elective surgery, so no treatment for your cancer or your knee surgery or hip surgery, anything else except abortion. Are you okay with that? It's ironic this governor has a war on children and a war on the elderly. Over 4,000 of the deaths in Pennsylvania, it's more like 4,500 of the 7,000 deaths are in the elder care facilities. Guess who caused that? Governor Levine is an incompetent person who needs to step down in shame. Levine needs to go. Can you help me? Levine needs to go. It was just a couple months ago I stood on the lower steps because the wolf had his barricades up to keep the people off the people's steps. And then about 150, 200 folks came out here, and I came down to the steps and I said, Levine needs to resign. And I listed the incompetence, the malpractice, the malfeasance, and then, okay, here's my letter, delivered to the letter to the governor's door. Of course, he's not there. He's still absent without leave. He's missing in action. God help us. I hope he's okay. I need to see a sign of life, Governor Wolf. Are you okay out there? Came back. We saw him in Philly last month with a nice burn on his head. Did that look like a Pennsylvania tan? Where was he? I don't know where he was, but he wasn't where he ought to be, taking care of the people of Pennsylvania. And so the day after I call for Levine's resignation, it's based off of a 19 March memo where Levine in an act of sheer incompetence and stupidity, it's directed healthcare facilities to let COVID-19 positive patients to return back because, we're worried about the beds being too occupied. Never before in the history of mankind have we taken the sick and put them with the most vulnerable. But Levine unleashed death in a plague by putting the virus with the elder. And as a result, you have not seen your loved ones for months. It's been 5-6 months since the last time you had physical contact with your moms, dads, grandparents, granduncles, and et cetera. And is that okay? But the next day, the day after I called for Levine's resignation, guess what we find out from a private investigator? You can't make this stuff up. The private investigator found out that Levine's mommy is more special than your mommy and knew the risk, knew the danger, lacked the courage, lacked the competence, lacked the courtesy to come out and say, as your Secretary of Health, I can't promise the health and safety of your loved one. If you can take him out, please do. We can't tell you how long it's going to be, but please look after him because we're not sure. But instead, Levine, like a snake slithering in the grass, snuck in, got mommy out of a facility, and has mommy in a suite here in Hershey. Are you okay with that? I am disgusted that that person would treat us with that much disrespect and hate. I think they believe we're stupid. What do you think about that? Like we're not going to see that. And the media, you need to step up your game. I know you'll ask me the hard questions, but you'll do little softballs to Levine. And so, as a result, you're complicit in this. Stand up and ask the hard questions. When that came out and Levine had this stupid, incompetent answer about how it was okay to sneak mommy out but not your mom, and the media just let it go. And I'm like, come on now, we're on our own here. We're fighting for our basic freedoms. Back in the day, the Declaration of Independence promised each of you the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Who gives that to you? God? Well, the governor thinks he can give that to you. And if the governor giveth, he can take it away. I say no. No. You can't have my freedoms, Governor Wolf. This is a different situation. I don't think we'll face a darker period in the past century plus in Pennsylvania. The place, it's ironic we're having this debate here. In 1776, where the light of liberty was lit, and those brave men in Philadelphia just down the road stood and put their sacred honor on the line, and many of them lost their lives and riches here for a new shape of freedom, a new form of freedom that the world has never seen before. And then they fought for 8 years against the greatest empire in the world, and they won by God's help and God's blessing. And as a result of that light of liberty that was lit in Philadelphia in 1776, it changed the course of history. Every nation that enjoys any sort of peace and prosperity or freedom in the form of a constitutional republic as a result of what happened here in Pennsylvania in 1776. But then darkness rose down south. The issue of slavery was not resolved or addressed in the Constitution or in the American Revolution. And then when the first Republican governor was elected to office, the Southern Democrat states broke ranks. And they left the Union. And a bloody civil war was fought. And at great price and great cost, 600,000 casualties paid in full for that price of freedom. 1863, July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, right in my district at Gettysburg, a new birth of freedom was fought for, the bloodiest single day in American history. American patriots like you and me stood in the gap against the darkness, took on a foe and a General Robert E. Lee who was like undefeatable. He was like King Midas, snatching victory out of jaws of defeat constantly. And fighting on our own turf, our forefathers changed the course of history. But now, the story's not over. Benjamin Franklin said, if we have a republic, if you can keep it. Can you keep it? Yes! Will you keep it? Yes! Our sacrifice is not as great as those in 1776 or in 1863. And let's not forget what happened in 2001 on 9/11 in Shanksville in Flight 93, where beautiful Americans did the first counterattack against those awful, terrible, disgusting terrorists and saved our capital from being hit by that jet. But they sacrificed everything for our nation. Now, you remember the sacrifice of our brothers and sisters. Are we going to give up our freedoms to the wolf? No! Are you going to stand aside as he comes down with his edicts and says, you shall not meet or gather? Will you? No! So again, are you going to stand? Yes! Are you going to fight for your freedom? Yes! And this is where we do that. This is an important event here. We stand shoulder to shoulder. I look around here and I see great Americans, thousands upon thousands. Of course, the media will say hundreds upon hundreds. I see how it plays out here. Anytime we have a rally where there's hundreds, they say thousands, they'll say hundreds. If we have hundreds, they'll say dozens. If the liberals come out here, you'll see dozens, but they'll say hundreds. It's like, come on, guy. So we're doing a head count out here. We're going to have our own head count here because we can't trust you guys. You hate us, and you hate our country, and we say no. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm not overplaying my service. All my adult life, just about, I wore the uniform of the United States Army, and it was an honor to serve. It was an honor to serve. Yes. And I can tell you one thing for sure. I am no hero, but, man, I served with heroes. I'm blessed. But all those men and women who put everything on the line and have lost their lives in Afghanistan and Iraq in our lifetime, or in Grenada, or in Desert Storm, where so many from Westmoreland County were killed by Saddam Hussein, the Scud missile, or Vietnam. Let me see my Vietnam veterans' hands. Come on, give it up for them. Serving in the jungles of Vietnam or in the Mekong Delta or in the mountains with the Hmong warriors, these men stood and fought for a nation that turned their back on them. And I say welcome home and thank you for your service. We honor and we honor you. But think about the sacrifice in our World War II generation that fought National Socialists in Europe and fought militarists in the Pacific, and they changed the course of history. Now's our time. Now, look, we're not, the Korean War, any Korean War veterans out here? All right. Korea, the socialists from China and elsewhere came down. They call themselves communists. You know, the foe we've been facing is the same all along, whether it's a National Socialist, Soviet Socialist, or a communist masked as a socialist. The same foe. They want to take your freedoms and rights away, and I say no, they can't have them. And the only way we could say no and resist these evil people with their evil doctrine is to stand toe-to-toe together. And when Governor Wolf comes out with his unconstitutional edicts, we say, no, no, you can't have it. This country was paid for with the price of millions and millions of patriots across the ages, casualties, and, of course, deaths. And you think about our charge now. So you think it's a little awkward that we actually have to walk into a store without a mask, and we're concerned that some self-appointed busybody is going to get on our back. You tell them, mind your business, as Matt would have it. You tell them, I'm exempt, and keep on and walk and do your business here. You're not storming the beaches at Normandy with German machine guns shooting in your face. All you're doing is walking in freedom. So I ask you to walk as a free person. Choose life. It's a choice. We will lose everything if we stand aside. We've been called together for such a time as this. Together we will win our liberty. So together we'll secure our freedoms. Together we'll have a country that we can pass on to our children better, more prosperous, and freer than how we got it. And it's a fight. Are you up for it? Yes. Let me ask you a question. Can you do it? Yes. Will you do it? Yes. Yeah, I know we can and we will. We have to. Otherwise, as Ronald Reagan said back in 1961, freedom isn't passed down from generation to generation. It's fought to and secured by patriots in every generation. And if we fail to do our part, we'll be sitting on the porches with our children and our grandchildren telling them what it was like once to be free. I refuse to let that happen. For the sake of our forefathers who bled on the frontier here in all these wars, for the sake of our veterans who put so much on the line, for the sake of the families who sent their loved ones off to war over and over again, for the sake of our children and grandchildren, for the future generations, I see a time when Pennsylvania will once again be a light to the nations, as William Penn promised. I stand here in the shadow of giants, and together with brothers and sisters, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers and sisters. We stand together this day. We will change the course of history. This is no game. Everything is on the line. Governor Wolf is pressing us with his edicts and commandments that contradicts himself every day. Think about what's happening in the schools. The games his Secretary of Education is playing with us. Schools will be open, maybe not open. Kids, the healthiest people in our population, put a gag over their faces, putting their lives at risk. No one under 20 years old has died in Pennsylvania of the virus. And I'm using the fake, exaggerated numbers from our failed Secretary of Health. Who needs to resign in shame? So we are being led by a bunch of science deniers, and we know that. You know, Secretary Levine comes out and tells us, you need to believe the science. And I'm like, After you start believing in science. But, liberals don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, They'll lie, cheat, and steal, as they always have, as they did during the American Revolution with the Loyalists who stood by the British side and fought against their brothers and sisters. They ratted out and snitched out patriots, reported them to the king. Is there any difference today? We have a good group of people in our state here that don't mind snitching. Now, I served my first assignment. Well, my wife can tell you we were signing the Iron Curtain in the last years of the Cold War. And that was a system where the state relied upon people ratting each other out. And look what Levine and Wolf is doing here. The manipulation, the propaganda, snitch out your neighbors. Here's a snitch line. And I say absolutely not. And we're going to get that snitch line. We're going to right to know it. And we're going to expose everyone here that betrayed your trust. Jesus said you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We're going to get that truth. Governor Wolf, Mr. Dither, he can dither all he wants. Eventually we'll get the facts. It's ironic he's going to veto probably today the bill we passed unanimously in the House and Senate demanding that he reopens his right to know office. That right to know office is a law where if you demand documents that you're supposed to have access to them. What is he hiding? What's he afraid of? How about that subpoena to get the list of waivers? And the day before he released that list of waivers, he revoked several hundred. And I'm like, what are you doing there? Are you hiding something? Yes, he is. Is it political payback? Probably. We just don't know. Yeah, that mask is as useless as somebody. Yes, I see it there, brother. And then his mask edicts out here, shaming people, using bully tactics. Just a few months ago in February when we sat through and endured his State of the State address, and he was talking about he's going to have a war against bullying. And then I hear him and Levine come out and saying we're going to shame anyone not wearing a mask. Well, how do you do that? What a bunch of hypocrites. All of us stand together against hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Walk your talk. Stop playing with us. We're not stupid. We're not sheep. We're Americans. We bow to no man. We bow to no man. We bow to no governor. And even a governor who thinks that he's the king of Susquehanna River. And I say no. So who's going to stand with me here? I mean, it's a hard time here. Galatians 6:9 says, grow not weary doing good. Grow not weary doing good, because in due time you'll reap a harvest. This is a marathon where, man, this thing is dragged out 126 days. It seems longer than that. But I'm cognizant many of you are suffering oppression, loss, abuse, death with your grandparents, your parents. You can't be there for their death because of the corruption and hypocrisy of our governor and failed secretary. I'm cognizant there's been great loss in your families. But stay the course. It took George Washington 8 years to prevail. It's not going to take us that long. The path of freedom and liberty has been paved by the blood of patriots in the past. Our job is easy, is to stand and walk and choose to walk as free people. Can you do it? Together. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder against tyranny, against the tyrannic rules of the governor. Together we're going to stand against his edicts and commandments that are not constitutional. I looked through that 1955 law that him and his failed secretary, who needs to resign in shame, Levine needs to go. I look at that 1955 law, and I don't see where he gets the power to tell healthy people how to live their lives. I don't see where he gets the power to order businesses to have certain conditions to be open. I don't see anywhere in there where he has that power. His power is derived from the consent of the people. Do you consent? No. Do you consent? No. Governor Wolf, do we consent? No. Absolutely not. I can't believe that we have a governor who comes out and actually thinks he's saved lives. He praises Levine as a hero. A hero of what? A war against our elderly, 4,500 deaths because of the failed policy of unleashing the virus among the sick. It's absolutely heartbreaking here. But brothers and sisters, I'm looking to you now to redouble your resolve. We're in a constitutional republic. The governor seems to keep on forgetting we're a democracy. We're a Democrat republic. He also called himself an autocrat. Well, I'm like, we got rid of the king in 1776. No, you're not. No, you're not a king. And we bow to no one except King Jesus. How's that, Governor Wolf? Yes. So we come against, in the power of the name of Jesus Christ, against his culture of death. We speak life over Pennsylvania. We speak hope over your lives. We come against this culture of chaos and confusion. Who's the author of the chaos and confusion? Doesn't come from God. Governor Wolf wants to control your lives with chaos and confusion. Are you okay with that? So let's stand together in the fight for freedom here, and together we're going to change history. God bless you guys, and God bless Pennsylvania.